Thanks. Thanks for coming on this blustery night. I'm going to get my thank yous out of the way. First, Jenny and the rabbit hole, but Jenny is a remarkable woman and she's doing some fantastic things. Well, it's all around you. And her presence is growing, of course. Jenny is part of our admin. She put her hand up for that, this project, which I feel very honored. This project has grown out of that inspiration to have a bigger art reality around this town and right through our whole area. When I had my exhibition at Pips, I made this speech, and I do have it recorded on film, and I did look at it about 3 months ago, and at one point in this speech I was railing away about something just quite... I repeated 3 times, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and here we are. This has taken 8 months, and I certainly never knew I was going to do it in December. Never had a clue. So this has all grown since December. And I've never applied for an arts grant. I've been working as a professional artist for 40 years. Never applied for an arts grant. And I actually got one, based on this project. And that came through the Australian Council. Now, it's more like winning lotto if you get a grant through the Australian Council. It really has to ring some bells, you know? So I feel so fortunate for not only myself, but all of us, everybody who's going to take part in this. In my mind, this is a community collaborative project. Okay? It's as equally mine as it is yours. Everyone who takes part in this project is going to create a sculpture. They're all going to kind of look like that. And this is really very significant work. Without wanting to sound like I'm big-noting myself, no one on the planet is doing this. This is a world's first. But yeah, I've still, to this date, never found anyone else doing this on the planet. Now, this started because of what I did to get a piece into Sculptures by the Sea, which is over at Pips, and how the whole carbon element came into my work. So this is a bit of history. This is where I started, and the whole Carbonature program started with bark in 2013. Warren Wells is driving that truck, and we're dragging that piece out. So this is the beginning of Ashes to Ashes.
Story project is kind of like a love letter from the local people to people who visit this place, so they understand why we love the place in which we live. And so having Northcliffe faces and Northcliffe figures present, it really is a personal connection. It's very intimate. So I think the project makes the walk trail experience more intimate.
as the tree grows up and around you. Well, you just fit. You were just...
I'm being born out of that tree, man.
I'm Gwen, and I'm a yoga teacher in Northcliffe. I think that there is a lot of emphasis on identity. And looking at Kim's work and be part of it, he has actually created consciousness in my eyes. He has taken the identity, the ego, the Gwen out of this body and actually created a form which is, it feels like pure consciousness.
I like the idea of watchfulness, that the figures are watching. They're watching over the park, they're watching over the community, they're watching over the people who are watching them. So it's this idea of looking and sharing and connecting. Yeah, so it's sentinel, that there are protectors of the forest that look over to care for the forest, to connect to the forest, conserve it for now and for the future generations.
For those who don't know, there was a massive forest fire in 2015. Once they saw what I did with Ashes to Ashes, they commissioned me to do this work. When you're working with natural objects, they do go their own way. The one thing I discovered through this, I mean, that was my studio for 8 months. It was really interesting working here. The one thing that's happened to me out of this whole process is coming to think about carbon and what it actually means. We don't think about carbon. We're all carbon. Everything's carbon. But it's one of the last things. We just kind of chuck it up on the periodic table and forget that it exists. Where in actual fact, carbon is a really magic element. It's everything. I think that the turning point for me was when I discovered that there's 2 carbon glues, carbon sugars, that glue our DNA together. And those 2 carbon sugars exist in every life form on this planet. If it wasn't for those 2 carbon sugars, nothing would exist, as we know it. And so, as a sculptor, as an artist, we're all on our own personal journey. This has really become quite a phenomenal kind of personal journey for me. And that's kind of why I want to share it with everybody else. I know that all of you have the capacity to do exactly what I'm doing. You don't have to be creative. All you need is the will to want to be part of it. And we together will all make fantastic sculptures at the end of the day. And hopefully, we will make 30 sculptures. We need to, I would like to think that we can get 60 people on board in teams of 2. And over a period of 1 week, if you can allow me 1.5 to 2 hours a day, and I'm going to try and fit in with your work schedule, so we're looking at actually establishing the workshop, say, between 3 in the afternoon till 8 at night. And if you can give me 1.5 to 2 hours a day, that's basically how long it takes for each session. And then we have to wait for the glue to dry. But in 6 days, you will end up with a piece of sculpture that should be 95% finished. The final sanding on the skin will be the only thing that's left to do. And you can do that in your own time. But that'll be it. And it'll be ready to go in the ground. And I don't want to exaggerate how simple this is. It's that easy. I've got something else to show you. I know what, I just want to show you how 14-year-old kids can learn how to do this in 25 minutes. Okay? So there you go. That's we only did one workshop down in Northcote, but it was a great adventure. Now, if we can teach 14-year-old kids how to do this in half an hour, I think we can sort it all out. You know, not difficult. Now, what I'd like to hope is that we can, if you're an individual, if you can find another person and bring them along, that would help. Like I say, we need to kind of get to that 60 point to make the 30 sculptures. Why 30? I don't know why. It just seems like it's got a good ring to it. Now, the grant that I received was enough to run this workshop, which is going to last for a month almost. And the other side of this entire project is actually putting it somewhere. So I've put plans in for where I'd like to see a garden created with these works. Without dumping the Shire too deeply in it, because of course they have to go through the due process. It's on the south side of the bridge, at the intersection to Nana. There's a large steel sculpture just there, and then there's a large piece of land underneath this land, which would be perfect for this work visually. You know, you can see it coming in from Manjimup, you can see it coming in from Nana, you can see it actually, I think you'll be able to see it as you're coming across the bridge. Then I'm going to go for corporate sponsorship to build the garden. We're going to bring in truckloads of rock, big rocks, as big as I can lift, put them on the back of the truck. But good rocks, you know, ones with lichen all over them and moss, you know. And then the other side of this is finding and collecting those wonderful giant grey ghosts that haven't been burned up, you know, burned in the last fire or whatever, and massive great stumps. I want to somehow get enough timber in there to preserve it, hopefully for the future, and educate people into what the forests, how big they were pre-European colonization. I have our entrance already given to me, 3 meters in diameter and 7 meters high, and massive, great wide bits. The middle of it was burned out and rotted away, and these two sides actually collapsed in on each other and held each other up, which is the only reason why it's surviving today. And they're 7 meters long. Massive, great tree. That will be one entrance. We'll walk through that tree to actually enter this park. I did a bit of mapping, as good as I could. Definitely not a mathematician. And it looks as if this path that would meander through it would be about 280 meters of walkway through there. And so you'll almost get lost in amongst all these massive rocks and huge bits of tree. And then plant natives in through that. And hopefully, in time, the environmental crew or any interested people, we might end up hopefully creating like a Friends of the Carbonature sculpture garden who want to, you know, play with plants and actually be part of it. So the concept of the ongoing community collaboration continues.